Imagine this. You've been feeling like life is falling apart, like the very ground beneath you is cracking open. You're not sure if you're waking up or breaking down. Some days you feel hypersensitive to everything: sounds, energies, emotions. Other days you feel completely numb, like your soul is on airplane mode. You keep seeing repeating numbers. You have dreams that feel more real than waking life. You've lost interest in things you used to love, and people you used to vibe with now feel like strangers. You've been asking, what's wrong with me? But what if nothing is wrong? What if everything is right? What if you're not breaking down, you're breaking through? The first sign you're on the edge of a major spiritual breakthrough is a deep internal disorientation that no one around you seems to understand. You wake up feeling like you don't belong in your own life. The roles you used to play, friend, partner, employee, feel like costumes now. You feel like you're floating between worlds, not quite here, not quite there. This isn't confusion. This is the unraveling of your old self. Your ego is losing control, and your soul is taking the wheel. And the ego doesn't go quietly, it kicks and screams. It tries to anchor you in fear. But the deeper truth is, every identity that is falling away was never really you. It was a survival mask. And now you're being called to remember your essence, not your performance. Can you sit in the disorientation without trying to fix it? The second sign is the collapse of external validation. You stop caring what others think, not out of defiance, but from exhaustion. You've spent years shaping yourself to be palatable, likable, marketable. But now, every time you betray your truth for approval, it feels like you're dying inside. You can no longer tolerate fake conversations, shallow connections, or surface-level living. And because of that, you might feel lonely. But this loneliness is not emptiness, it's sacred space. It's the vacuum where your real self can finally breathe. And in that space, your true tribe will begin to find you, not because you sought them, but because you finally stopped hiding. Are you willing to be misunderstood in order to be authentic?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
The third sign is an intense emotional purge. Old traumas rise. Childhood wounds you thought you had healed suddenly reopen. You cry for no reason. You feel rage, grief, despair all in one afternoon. This is not regression. This is initiation. Your nervous system is detoxing everything it held on to keep you functioning in a dysfunctional world. You are not falling apart, you are being emptied out. The old emotions are not returning to punish you. They are surfacing to be released. The spiritual breakthrough you're approaching cannot be built on unprocessed pain. So your soul is doing a deep clean. Will you allow the discomfort, or will you reach for the same distractions that numbed you before? The fourth sign is a disconnection from time. You forget what day it is. Hours feel like minutes or vice versa. You stop measuring your life in achievements and start feeling into moments. This is because you are shifting from linear time to soul time. You are no longer living from the head, you are starting to live from the heart. And the heart doesn't care about clocks. It cares about alignment. Your dreams become more vivid. You start sensing things before they happen. You feel like you're being guided by something invisible but unmistakable. This is not psychosis. This is presence. Your consciousness is expanding beyond the five senses. Are you trusting the unseen, or are you still demanding proof? The fifth sign is the collapse of control. Every plan you try to make falls apart. The more you force, the more resistance you meet. It's not that the universe is against you, it's that your soul is shifting you from ego-driven action to divine surrender. You're being taught to trust what is unfolding, even when it makes no sense. Your old goals no longer excite you. Your old dreams feel too small. And that terrifies the part of you that found safety in predictability. But the breakthrough you're approaching is not logical, it's mystical. Your mind won't understand it until your soul has already walked it. So the question is, can you let go of needing to know how it ends? The sixth sign is the appearance of synchronicities that are too precise to ignore. You think about someone and they call. You wake up at 3:33 for 3 nights in a row. You see the same symbols, hear the same phrases in different places. This is your higher self dropping breadcrumbs. These synchronicities are not random, they are sacred alignments. They are helping you navigate the in-between space between breakdown and breakthrough. The universe speaks in patterns, not paragraphs. It doesn't explain, it aligns. And the more you pay attention, the more guidance you receive. But here's the deeper truth. The synchronicities don't just show you the path, they remind you that you are the path. Are you listening to the signs, or are you brushing them off as coincidence? The seventh sign, and perhaps the most terrifying and sacred of all, is the death of your old self. You feel like everything you believed in, everything you valued, is dissolving. And in many ways it is. Because the version of you that was built to survive is not the same version of you that's being called to ascend. You are mourning the self that sacrificed truth for safety, that chose comfort over growth, that played small to be accepted. And that mourning is holy. It is the funeral before the rebirth. And the rebirth will come not as a dramatic moment, but as a quiet knowing, a shift in your center, a return to yourself. Are you brave enough to die before you die? Everything you're feeling right now, every confusion, every breakdown, every moment of silence is sacred. You are not lost. You are being found by something bigger than you. You are being stripped, not to be punished, but to be purified. You are being stretched, not to be broken, but to be expanded. You are on the edge of a major spiritual breakthrough, and the edge always feels like the end. But it's not. It's the threshold. It's the sacred pause before the leap. It's the silence before the sound. It's the darkness before the dawn. So I ask you, chosen one, the one who's still here, still watching, still listening, are you willing to let go of who you were so you can become who you were always meant to be? You're still here. That means something. It means your soul is ready for what your mind still doubts. It means you've seen the signs, felt the tremors beneath your feet, and even if you can't explain it, you know something is shifting. And now that you've recognized the 7 signs, the real work begins not in the outer world, but in the inner world, where the breakthrough is already underway. Because a spiritual breakthrough isn't something that arrives with fireworks and applause. It doesn't knock on your door and say, "Congratulations, you've made it." No, it breaks you open, quietly, systematically. with precision that only the soul can orchestrate. And in that breaking, you are given a choice: resist the process or rise through it. Right now, you might still feel like you're in the fog. You might feel like the path ahead is unclear, that the old reality is collapsing, but the new one hasn't quite arrived. This is the sacred in between, the void. It's uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar. But don't confuse unfamiliar with unsafe. The void is not your enemy, it's your womb. It's where your new self is gestating. It's where your soul is gathering everything it needs for the next stage of your evolution. But here's the truth: the void doesn't respond to panic. It responds to presence. The more still you become, the more you begin to hear what's actually being whispered to you. In this space, your attachments will be tested. Everything you thought you needed validation, certainty, structure will be stripped away. Not because the universe is cruel, but because you're being shown a deeper truth. You are enough without the things you thought defined you. The job can fall away. The relationship can dissolve. The plans can fail. And still you remain. Still you breathe. Still you rise. This is the part of the spiritual breakthrough that most people resist, and that's why most people never fully transform. They run back to what's safe. But you're not most people. That's why you're still here. You will know you're close when your body starts speaking louder than your thoughts. When your intuition becomes undeniable. When your dreams start revealing coded messages. When your energy becomes sensitive to environments, to people, to sound, to food. You're not becoming weaker, you're becoming more finely tuned. You're shedding the noise so that only truth remains. And truth doesn't scream. It whispers. That's why the world can't hear it. But you can. And the more you listen, the more you realign with the frequency of your soul's original design. One of the hardest parts of this journey is letting go of timelines. You thought you'd be further along by now. You thought your healing would be complete. You thought your purpose would be clear. But none of this follows a clock. Spiritual breakthroughs are not linear. They are cyclical. They spiral through you deeper and deeper until every layer of falsehood is burned away. And just when you think you've arrived, another layer reveals itself. Don't be discouraged. Be devoted. The breakthrough doesn't come to those who are perfect, it comes to those who are present. Can you stay in the process without needing to rush the outcome? Soon, you'll begin to notice new energy moving through your life. People will shift around you. Some will disappear. Others will arrive out of nowhere. Opportunities will show up that feel too aligned to be coincidence. Doors you were banging on will stay shut, but others will swing open without effort. This is the sacred orchestration of a soul in alignment. You're no longer chasing, you're magnetizing. You're no longer convincing, you're attracting. And it's not because of what you're doing, it's because of what you're becoming. But don't think the breakthrough makes you immune to pain. In fact, the pain may intensify for a time because you're now processing on a higher frequency. You're releasing not just your own trauma, but ancestral patterns, collective energy, karmic imprints. You are a transmuter, a frequency holder, a guide in the making. And that kind of responsibility requires purification. Your emotions are not setbacks, they are activations. They are recalibrating your nervous system to hold more light. So don't suppress them. Don't rush them. Feel them fully, and then let them move. As your spiritual senses sharpen, you'll notice a deeper level of discernment awakening. You'll feel the truth behind people's words. You'll sense the hidden agendas. You'll see through the illusion of appearances. And while this might feel isolating at first, it's actually empowerment. You are no longer gullible to the surface. You are learning to trust energy over image. And in this way, you begin to live in truth, not projection. This is the edge of transformation. It's subtle, it's powerful, and it's irreversible. You'll also begin to feel a pull to create, not from your mind, but from your soul. Maybe it's writing, art, movement, speaking, healing. Whatever it is, it won't be about results, it will be about expression. It will feel like something inside you is trying to be born. And that's because it is. The breakthrough births not just a new you, but a new frequency through you. You're not just here to awaken, you're here to transmit. And the transmission comes through your creativity, through your presence, through your embodiment. What is your soul asking you to create? Not for approval, but for liberation. And here's the most important thing to remember. The breakthrough is not a destination. It's a threshold. Once crossed, you begin living from a new level of consciousness. Not just in meditation, but in relationships, in business, in conflict, in daily life. You start responding instead of reacting. You start choosing alignment over fear. You become a mirror, not just for others, but for the divine. You become a sacred presence in a world starving for truth. So now I ask you, are you ready to stop waiting for the breakthrough and start becoming the breakthrough? Because that's the shift. It's not something that comes to you. It's something that comes through you. And when it does, your life becomes the evidence. Not because everything is perfect, but because everything is aligned. You are closer than you think. You are more powerful than you've been told. You are not breaking. You are birthing. And the world needs what's coming through you more than you know. Now that you've come this far, the question is no longer if the breakthrough is coming. The question is, who are you becoming as it arrives? Because a true spiritual breakthrough doesn't just shift your inner world, it rewrites your very relationship with life itself. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the conditioning, before the fear, before the world told you what was possible. And as this memory returns, your outer world begins to reflect your inner revolution. What once triggered you now teaches you. What once drained you now reveals where you've been leaking your own power. And what once felt like loss now feels like alignment. One of the most powerful confirmations that you're on the edge of a breakthrough is that everything starts to feel like a test. Your patience is tested. Your boundaries are tested. Your clarity is tested. It feels like the universe is throwing one challenge after another, and you start to wonder, why now? But here's the truth. The final test always comes right before the elevation. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. You are being asked, are you really ready to hold what you've been asking for? Because your next level requires a new level of self-trust and spiritual maturity. And if you can respond with presence instead of reacting with panic, you move from victim to creator. You'll notice that even your language begins to change. You stop speaking from the wound and start speaking from the wisdom. You no longer seek to be understood, you seek to understand. You no longer need to win arguments, you want to win alignment. Your words become spells. Your silence becomes sacred. You begin to notice how your energy speaks louder than what you say, and people around you start to feel it. Some will be drawn, others will be triggered, because your energy becomes a mirror, and not everyone is ready to see what you reflect. But that's not your responsibility. Your only job is to stay aligned with your truth and allow others the freedom to walk their own path. Another sign you're on the edge is the collapse of shoulds. You stop living from obligation and start living from purpose. You stop saying yes when your body screams no. You stop compromising your peace for the sake of fitting in. You realize that every time you dishonor your truth to meet an expectation, you delay your own expansion. And suddenly saying no becomes sacred. Not because you're rejecting others, but because you're finally accepting yourself. This is not selfishness, it's energetic sovereignty. Your time is no longer available to what drains you. Your energy is no longer a currency for approval. You'll also begin to feel an unshakable sense of inner authority rising. Not arrogance, not ego, but a deep knowing that doesn't need external agreement. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for the right timing. You stop needing signs to confirm what your soul already knows. And in that authority, you begin to walk differently. You speak differently. You move through the world with a quiet power that says, I remember who I am. And when others question it, doubt it, or try to test it, you don't fight them. You simply continue walking, because real power doesn't perform. It radiates. But even as this power rises, grief may surface. Grief for the version of you that had to die. Grief for the innocence that was lost. Grief for the time you spent dimming your light. And this grief is not weakness, it's integration. It's your soul honoring every chapter that brought you here. Don't rush it. Don't bypass it. Sit with it. Let it teach you. Because the deeper you grieve, the deeper you love. And the deeper you love, the more fully you live. Your breakthrough is not just about expansion, it's about embodiment. And embodiment requires you to feel it all. Eventually, you find yourself no longer needing to convince anyone of anything, not your worth, not your path, not your choices. You stop arguing with reality. You stop resisting change. You stop fearing endings. You begin to see that every closed door was divine redirection. Every delay was divine protection. Every loss was divine calibration. And in that space, you begin to trust what you cannot yet see. Faith becomes your foundation. Not blind faith, but embodied faith. Faith that has been earned through fire. Faith that can't be shaken by circumstances because it's rooted in experience. Then, the sacred moment arrives not with fanfare, but with stillness. You wake up one day and realize the anxiety is gone. The inner war has quieted. The fear has lost its grip. And what's left is peace. Not because life is perfect, but because your perception has changed. You no longer need to control everything to feel safe. You no longer need to know what's next to feel grounded. You've surrendered not as defeat, but as devotion. You've stopped chasing and started receiving. You've stopped surviving and started creating. This is the moment the breakthrough lands not outside of you, but within you. And when it does, nothing about you looks the same. You glow differently. You speak differently. You love differently. Not because you've added anything, but because you've stripped away everything that wasn't you. You're no longer reacting from wounds, you're responding from wisdom. You're no longer walking with fear, you're walking with fire. The kind of fire that doesn't burn others, it lights the way. And now, your very presence becomes an invitation for others to rise too. So here's the final reflection. Spiritual breakthroughs don't just change your life. They change your frequency. And your frequency changes the world around you. You don't need a stage. You don't need a platform. You just need to live your truth so fully, so unapologetically, that others feel permission to do the same. That's the real impact. That's the real mission. That's the real breakthrough. And now you stand here, chosen one, at the edge of everything you've ever asked for. The only question left is, will you leap? Because the edge was never the end. It was always the beginning.